Well, Splatoon 3 stuff was shown off in the Direct, and it was also some of the most confusing and fast and hype stuff imaginable, and so I'm gonna try to break down what little we can figure out, and speculate a little bit for things they might be hinting towards in the future. If you want to see more Splatoon content from me, I'm really close to 100,000 subscribers, so I would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. Let's get started. So before we even get to either of the wave sections, I want to talk about the possibility that we might actually be getting 4 waves. When the expansion pass was shown off, there were 4 colors being shown, and when they showed off the waves, you can see 4 wave banners. These banners also have the exact same colors, so potentially this is just the first 2 waves, and there are another 2 we don't even know about yet. Another thing we know is more music being used in the game. Specifically, we have the loading screen for Splatoon 1 that would play when you boot up the game for the first time and load into the Plaza. We have, of course, Splat Attack, the original remix. And most importantly, we have a remix of a Splatfest song from Splatoon 1, being Color City. I have a small theory that when you're in the Splatoon 1 Plaza, if you group up for games in Splatfest or normally, you'll be able to hear the Splatoon 1 original music from there, which would make sense since it's being taken place in that area. That would be a really cool way of giving us more multiplayer songs without breaking some of the world lore of the music changing. As for the shops, we do see that there is a Salmon Run building, the arcade machine is there, though it's unclear if we'll have access to them, and the local multiplayer mode was transformed into the Shoal, which makes sense. There are some new shopkeepers and some shopkeepers getting upgrades. In fact, it's hard to tell over the music, but even the sound effects when selecting and buying gear are the exact same from Splatoon 1.
Splatsville, so shop wherever your vibes are.
But the main thing of note is in Sheldon's shop, where we can take a look at what seems like the normal Squiffer, but upon closer inspection, this is actually the new Squiffer. It has the sticker and a different color scheme, so maybe we're getting this in the next season. This is one of 3 weapons we have a decent likelihood of seeing. Skip to this timestamp if you don't want to hear about them. In the previous update, the files for the Gold Dynamo and Neo Splash-O-Matic were added to the game, and they look really cool. I love the Neo Splash look. So that's likely 3 of the weapons we'll be getting in the next update. There's a bit of returning gear from the shops, but one piece of gear that's especially interesting is the Koro Koro hoodie from Splatoon 1. If you don't know, this is based off an actual brand in Japan, and they even had a weapon in the Sheldon's picks for Splatoon 1. I find it pretty interesting that this is being brought back, and maybe we'll see another collab with Koro Koro in the future. Another thing we can speculate on is what stage might be coming back for a returning map. This was posted by Masa, which features some IDs for stages, and there's a few missing. We know Reef is somewhat in the game's code, but if we check here, there's an ID missing next to Splatoon 3 stages and for Splatoon 1. Considering the Inkopolis Plaza releases, I think it gives a higher probability that there'll be a Splatoon 1 stage coming alongside it with that update. So Bluefin, Salt Spray, and Urchin, the only Splatoon 1 maps to not have been ported to either game yet, are probably highly likely to come in the next update. Though of course it's speculation and that could all be wrong. The Splatoon 3 stage is probably the Ruin stage we saw in the original Splatoon Direct. Outside of that, that's really all we know. Obviously the shops give a new shop, which means there could be new clothes there, but even that isn't confirmed. There's Spike, who we can probably interact with, so maybe you can scrub with coins there, but it's really hard to tell. I'm hoping there's a little bit more to it, but I'm guessing there's definitely stuff we don't know, so we'll have to see if it makes it a little bit more worth the money. And while nice, no, the purchase bonus of 100% experience tickets, which are basically useless, cash, and 1 of every drink ticket does not count as a major bonus, so I do hope there's more content there. Alright, next is the story mode, and admittedly this is not my specialty, and on top of that, the trailer was super vague, so even with the things we can put together, it's impossible to put a connected theory. However, with some help of some people who helped me out during the analysis, I'd like to present some of the stuff we do know or is likely. First off, in our biggest piece of information, who is the Octoling in this trailer? Well, thanks to a post from Luna, who decided to do some color analysis things, it seems like the eye is the exact same color as Agent 8's. The hairstyle is the same, and the skin tone is the same on the color wheel. You can read up on the thread linked in the description if you want to hear a little bit more about it, because it's not really my speciality, but this is likely Agent 8, especially considering their outfit has a zipper, which is reminiscent of Off the Hook, you know, who they were with last. Another thing we can note is this is probably not before the end of Splatoon 2, because Pearl and Marina have their outfits from Damp Sock's Off the Hook when they went on tour, and you can see that in a few of the still images, which also means the Octoling cannot be Marina, which I have heard of it. Another thing we know is that the official wording is a stylish square transformed to white, which means it's probably the same square as Splatoon 2's and not a duplicate. For the plaza itself, it does have a theme of being plain. The shops are a little bit closer together and neater, and the tower has been replaced, featuring a little bit of an entrance that will probably be in the campaign. It also has fish flying around somehow, and it's snowing, which might resemble Alterna a little bit, but not much to go off of there. Oh, and the monorails are gone for some reason. Another thing worth noting that P. Jiggles pointed out is that the DLC in Dutch translates to the Tower of Order instead of Side Order, and considering the giant tower in the center of the plaza, that's probably where the campaign takes place. Now, besides that, all we have to go off of are the flashing images that happen there, and I'll be showing them on screen and covering each of them a bit. There's this image of red and maybe a little bit of black on it, which is really hard to tell what it's from, and frankly looks pretty creepy. This one is incredibly blurry, but cool enough, features a weapon that we don't really know of. It has some parts that resemble the splatter shot, but it's obviously way bigger, so maybe this is a new weapon or a hero mode exclusive weapon. These black spikes are a cool shot, but as pointed out by Jesse, they are black spires that resemble hostile nuclear warning architecture. This, by the way, is communication to deter human intrusion at nuclear waste sites, which can be within or above the magnitude of 10,000 years, which is where Splatoon takes place. Outside of that, we have a picture of Marina in the new outfit, like I mentioned, a picture of 8 on what seems to be an elevator. There's someone else in the shop, but it's hard to tell who they are. This main elevator entrance, which does have a weird detail, there are no Octo suction cups, and the ears are actually that of an Inkling. Everything else fits that of an Octoling, so I have no idea why this one is different, but maybe there's a reason for that. This looks like it could potentially be a level, and also features coral, which is something I'll talk about at the end because there is a lot of this white coral everywhere, including at the plaza. Pearl also in her Damp Socks outfit. This is probably the most interesting image. It features some red, some black, and white coral. We can see this kind of black sludge in a few other places as well, but it's most prominently featured here. This coral is bleached, where it's not dead, but it means that the organisms that live with it are moving out. Maybe some sort of symbolism for how everyone moved on from the Splatoon 2 plaza. We have another picture of Agent 8 and again what looks like an elevator. This could potentially be Tartar at the bottom because this does resemble a phone coming out of the right side, but it's hard to tell. This could be a memory or maybe they survived. Personally hoping it's a memory. There's another image of the Octoling holding their head. This could be a memory from Octo expansion, as this looks very similar to where they started off from that single player campaign, and hitting their head would explain the whole memory loss thing. This image is the most mysterious one, featuring cloning, which has been talked about in the Splatoon world before, and primarily Little Judd is a clone, and so if this is some sort of cloning process, it would not be new. There's a blurred out picture of Pearl and Marina here, as well as the main image we saw, which doesn't really show too much. Now, I hope to come to a theory here, but I couldn't really come with enough conclusive to tell what the story mode is about, and maybe that's for the better. It's kind of nice not knowing what exactly is going to happen, and Octo expansion did the same thing with its trailer. Another thing worth noting is in that trailer, there were some scenes that never actually happened, such as Pearl and Marina being in the train, and I liked it better when we had no idea what the story was, so maybe it's for the best that we can't piece everything together quite yet. It definitely has enough hints to pique some interest, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed my analysis, and I'll see you later.